Okay, this is my fan reaction submission. First off, let me say I saw ACDC twice in 1 month. I feel like a very lucky person for that alone. I mean, some people didn't even get to go to one show, in this tour. I saw the boys in Cleveland on the January 5th and Cincinnati on the 11th. And I've been listening to ACDC since I was 10 years old, and Cleveland was the first time seeing them live. That was a very special day, I'll never forget it. I was hooked on their music before the concert, but seeing them live is a whole nother thing. It made me hooked even more than before. I was in section 109 for that show, which is like 2 sections over from the stage, and I was 7 rows up from the floor. So I had a great seat, and that made the experience that much better. The Answer took the stage at 7:30. They were okay. I mean, the drummer was awesome. I just didn't like the overall sound they had. I guess it really didn't matter who the opening act was, though. I paid for ACDC, so the arena was waiting for ACDC, so it really didn't matter. They took the stage at 8:30. I think it's great they start the show with the video, the explosion, and then Rock and Roll Train. What better way to start the show? I actually got a lot of video from the Cleveland show. I don't regret it for 1 second. Some people said you can't enjoy the show if you're holding a camera. That's definitely not true. I had a great time, even though at times I was recording or taking pictures. And it's good now because I can watch, Angus's guitar solo, for example, and relive that moment over and over. My first ACDC concert. Let me mention, I can watch that solo for hours. The feeling I got seeing that live is just indescribable. If I had to describe it, I guess I would say it's like having an orgasm in your mind the whole time, or a mindgasm, if you will. About 10 minutes after the Cleveland show, all I could hear was that solo ringing in my ears. The feeling was amazing. Everyone should experience an ACDC concert one time or another in their life. Just that feeling you get from saying "Oi" along with the arena full of people during TNT, or Angus at the start of A Whole Lot of Rosie with everybody else. Just amazing. Let me also add, like, the effects and videos are great during the show. The fire, the smoke, Rosie, the cannons, lighting, the Hell's Bell, everything was great. Now for a little comparison between Cleveland and Cincinnati. In my opinion, the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland was a lot nicer than the US Bank Arena in Cincinnati. That was just one of my first observations right off the bat. And the sound was great at both arenas. I got my hearing back fully the next day for both shows, and I chose not to wear earplugs. At the Cincinnati show, I was on the floor, basically between each set of speakers, and I could tell it was a bit louder than Cleveland. Every time Phil hit those drums, I could feel the floor rumbling. It was just awesome. There was a lot more people singing along around me too at Cincinnati on the floor. I was like the only one singing most of the songs in my section at Cleveland, or for the most part. Also, I didn't smell any weed at Cincinnati, but it was pretty strong at Cleveland. When I was on the floor, I was 8 seats away from the lift where Angus does a solo. That was just mind-blowing. When he was coming onto the lift, I looked over 2 rows ahead of me, and there was a guy doing the we're not worthy bow. My thoughts exactly. Here's a guitar god, and I am this close. I mean, Angus is up there in age, but he hits every note like it's nothing. You can just see how much passion he has when he's playing that guitar and how into it he is. Any closer, and I would have got some Angus sweat on me. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have minded it at the time. I would also like to add, Angus is moving around a lot more in Cleveland than Cincinnati. This could be because they were on break for a little bit, but still, he's moving pretty good. Every song was amazing. I knew the set list going into both shows, and it didn't take away from the experience. Of course, a part of me was sad going into For Those About to Rock at Cincinnati, since that was the last song. I knew I wouldn't be seeing them again, or at least for a while. But I definitely soaked it all in. It's always a great way to end a show with those loud-ass cannons firing away. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to my ACDC fan reaction. And I strongly recommend, if you haven't seen them perform live, do everything you can to score some tickets. You know, you won't regret it. This might be their last tour. I hope it's not, but I would just get any tickets you can get. See them as many times as possible. You know, get the money somehow and just go see them live. It's just amazing. Yeah, I spent a shitload of money between both shows, and I would do it all over again. No doubt. Okay, see you guys.